Draco, do you know anything about the Oversoul? Is it like a family of your soul? Yeah, the Oversoul, we do have a number of partaraks that go into more detail about the Oversoul. One is Soul, Soul, Spirit, Spirit. The other one is 30 spirits. So this is 30 spirits. I'll see if I can find a piece maybe to read you. Anything to do with soul, like this is soulmates, which talks about two people or the union of two souls and how that comes about and how you know and find out. Okay, so the oversoul is the higher you, and this one here, soul, soul, spirit, spirit, is the main one, which goes into detail about your soul, your spirit, the etheric you, and then the oversoul or the overbeing, which you're calling Pahu, yeah? And then you got the etheric being, the creative being, the breath of life or the living being, and yeah, it goes into the Paka'a, which is the exoplasmic being, the living being, which is Nafas, which becomes Nafish, you know, in the religious books. But yeah, the oversoul is your higher self. So if I just read a little bit for you from page 5, right, of this Partarak called Soul, Soul, Spirit, Spirit, I'll read from verse. I'll read from verse 36. So it was talking about the female and the male and how the female gave up her divinity by submitting to the male. But so when I read from 36, it says, so let you both, female and male, reason together. 37. First, we look at the Pahu, that the overbeing or oversoul, right? This is your question. Pre-existence, being of mental. So the oversoul is the pre-existent being, because when you look at the scroll called the Sacred Wisdom of Tahuti, yeah, which is this scroll, we have all of these scrolls, yeah, the Sacred Wisdom of Tahuti. He explains about the mental, because we also have a realm called the mental realm where we tap into by our minds, and we speak about it as the mental reservoir. But this is why you were mental first. You actually can be mental as a mental being without the need of a physical body. The physical body is only required on this lower vibrational plane, the physical plane, where we need, or the physical realm, where we need to be able to move and do things in the 3D dimension. But this Sacred Wisdom of Tahuti, right, because as you know, Tahuti is that being that wrote a lot of the information on the planet, and that's how he's depicted all the time with that the beak, yeah, which is where they get the word the quill from, because that is dealing with him being a scribe and always writing. And so there is the doctrine of the mental, which goes into a lot of detail in this Sacred Wisdom of Tahuti. But touching on your question on the oversoul, or the overbeing, is telling you that pre-existence, or when you were mental. All right, so I'm just trying to find a little section on here. But yeah, and let me go back to carrying on reading that part of that where it talks about, yeah, this is on page 59 of the Sacred Wisdom of Tahuti. It gives you these doctrines, these 9 doctrines. Again, 9 being that, you know, the number 9 is the highest number. So the doctrines of truth are 9. He who knows these overstandingly possess the magic key, before whose touch all the doors of the temple fly open. All right, at menu. So the 9 Tahuti doctrines are, upon which the entire Tahutian teaching is based, are as follows. The first one is the one we're talking about, the doctrine of mental, right? Then it goes on to the others. Number 2, the doctrine of correspondence, right? The correspondence, that's connected to and fro, communicating. Then you got the third one, the doctrine of vibration. So you have to understand and master these, like the doctrine of vibration. How does energy, relate? How does things vibrate, right? Number 4, the doctrine of polarity. Remember I was saying about the two sides, yeah? You've got the polarity between the two sides. You have to know that. Number 5, the doctrine of rhythm. When you're dealing with vibration, frequencies, you're dealing with tones, music, rhythm. There's a rhythm of life, the way things flow and why they do that. Right? So there's the doctrine of rhythm, number 5. Number 6, the doctrine of cause and effect. How do you affect your surroundings? Like what action causes an effect? So the doctrine of cause and effect. Number 7, the doctrine of gender. You see, because a lot of people, they just think about gender as in just the male and the female genders, but there are other genders, okay, where you may have like a hermaphrodite or a hermaphrodite, her and he morphing into something else. Okay, so there are other genders and beyond the humanoid form as well. Number 8, the doctrine of growth, because things grow, you evolve and you grow. Not just your physical body, where you start off as a tadpole looking sperm and you grow physically, but you're also growing spiritually, you're growing mentally, you're growing in your other beings if you're actually putting in the work. And finally, the doctrine of breathing, you see, because without breathing, you're not alive, are you? So that goes into, as I said, the mental. Go back to verse 36 in the Patarak, soul, soul, spirit, spirit. It says, 37, first we look at Pahu, the overbeing or oversoul, pre-existence being of mental. 38, and then we look at Pa-Ach, the etheric being or creative expression, which is linked to all as an energy double. Then we go into 39. Pa-Achak, the arc, vibrates on 1 through 10 levels. And 10 is only a repeat of the first level on higher dimension. So this is why I keep saying that when you go from, I use 1 because people always leave at 0. But in our language, we don't. We start from 0, yeah? So we say Safu, not just go to Wahoo, which is 1. But anyway, from 1 to 9, Tasu, number 9, you go to 1, 9, and when you go to 10, it's a repeat, or you're starting again, a new cycle. So then you go from 10, you do another 9, you go to what? 19, right? And then from 19, you go up another 9. So 10 is only a repeat of the first level on higher dimension. And when you start to deal with these dimensions, that's why I say to you, like, if you relate it to like colors, you have millions and millions of, if not billions of permutations of colors that you can make from the 3 primary colors. The same with music. You have millions and millions and millions of songs that you can write from just having those tones, those 3 tones, because each note is actually 3. As you have the note major, then you have its flat, then you have its sharp. So that's 3 in 1. Okay, the master teacher, Panda Babyanon, has 3 tones in 1 in terms of the way he speaks, because that's a vibration. And so carry on from 39, 1 through 10 levels, and 10 is only a repeat of the first level on higher dimensions. So each dimension, each level can go to the 9 to the 9 power of 9. Okay, 10 is in fact 1 again. That's number 40, 41. And then we look at Pa Ba'a, called the soul, creative expression of emotional being. 47. And there is a counter soul, right? This is so important. There is a counter soul called, in our language, Parawa, called also the soul. Okay, 43. Yet it is breath or wind, and it affects the body actions. It ignites with the first human breath of air or mixture of gases. Ether, one, breathes the atmosphere or breath. And I'm going to stop here because it goes into more detail, but on 45, and then we look at Pa Ka'a, called the spirit.